Hey guys, Lally here. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about something very important, something I wish somebody would have gave me advice on when I first started out on my entrepreneurial journey. And that is the number one reason why most people end up trying something out and then not seeing any results for what they do and end up, failing in business and end up failing in entrepreneurship and folding and just stopping doing it and stop chasing that goal. And by the end of today's video, if you watch it all the way through, you'll know this exact pitfall to actually avoid. Now, I've been very blessed over my business time to actually be mentored by some really good people, some people I really look up to in the business world. I've also, worked alongside other entrepreneurs who have maybe been in the same boat as me. I've also, by this point in my career, had thousands of interactions with other business owners. I've had hundreds of prospective client calls with people. And I've had a whole bunch of clients who I've ended up building out like a LinkedIn strategy for, which is what my business is based on. But the point of me telling you that is there's certain traits between the guys who end up winning and succeeding and starting to achieve the goals versus the people who actually don't and actually get set back and actually quit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate what this actually looks like, what this journey looks like, and what happens with the people who succeed and what happens with the people who fail. Right? So we've got this graph here. On the y-axis we've got results, on the x-axis we've got time. And what happens is a person decides they want to go into business, they want to start a business, they take a course, they get a few books, they get lots of reading material and action items. Maybe they watch a YouTube video like this and they decide that they need to learn sales and marketing. Let's just say sales or marketing. And they start creating content online to try and attract clients. They start DMing people, they start getting on sales calls with people. And what happens is over time, there's no result. The time just goes on and on like this, and there's no result, little to no result. And what ends up happening is the person reaches a certain point where they're just like, I've tried everything I can here and I just can't succeed. I've tried X, I've tried Y, I've tried Z, and I've tried it for a whole bunch of time as well, and I just can't succeed at this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give up, or I'm just going to try a new idea. But here's the thing which actually happens is if they would just push it past this very point here, generally what happens is the compounding effect takes over and the results go like that. Whew, straight like that. And the number one reason for people actually failing is they just don't actually try for long enough. And what most people forget is the invisible result which you're getting if you're trying at something for a long time. And the invisible result is, let's draw this in red. The invisible result is that as well as this, you've also got this red line here which goes up. And this red line is, can you guess what it is? Well, it's your skill set. So just because you aren't actually achieving a straight up result for something doesn't mean your skills aren't improving. So to give you an example of this, when I started to try and sell high ticket services, I had no idea how to sell. I'd never sold anything to anyone on the phone before. I'd never done a sales job before. I knew an awful lot about marketing, but I never knew anything about sales or anything like that. And so that was a really tough journey for me because I basically didn't know what to say, how to say it, and didn't have any context around it. So I had to go and, I had to read a lot. I had to, take courses and things and learn how to sell. And what happened was on my journey, I saw, I'm just trying to work out where to put this. Let's get rid of that skill set. I saw this. I saw nothing for a long time. In fact, I actually did over 50 different sales calls / strategy sessions before I made my first sale, right? And you know what? I completely get why people give up because I wanted to give up every step of the way, right? I got a little bit closer each time. I pushed the call a little bit more. At the start, I was actually making excuses for the people on the other end of the phone of why they shouldn't buy my stuff. How crazy is that, right? I was saying things like, I was thinking in my head oh, maybe I can't help this person when I could. I was talking myself out of it. And that was just because my skills hadn't caught up, right? The time was going in and my skills were getting slightly better. So I was getting more and more comfortable with the fact that I could actually help these people. So, but if you were just to take a snapshot of any of these moments here, you'd be like, he spent 10 sales calls, he hasn't made a single sale. 20 sales calls, he hasn't made a single sale. 30 sales calls, no sale. 40, no sale. 45, nothing, right? Just give up, Rob, just give up. You know, if I told my family how much I failed there, you know, I told some people who were close to me, but if I told like some other family who I knew wouldn't really understand entrepreneurship, they'd just be like, just give up, like this isn't working, just give up. Because it's only logical to, when you look at snapshots of that and when you don't understand like the compounding effect, because the compounding effect, there's not only it's affecting your skills, it's also something else which is going on as well. It's your mindset as well. So you've got your skills, your mindset, and this all goes into you just becoming a better version of it. But when you start out at anything, like you won't be good at it. You just can't be good at it. Something much better will happen if you just carry on. So most people give up at this stage, and if I would have done, I would have made no money, right? However, I didn't. I pushed through it. And because I pushed through it, I ended up, you know, closing high ticket clients, closing another one, closing another one, closing another one, having a 5-figure month, right? Selling much higher prices than 2K. All because I just didn't really give up. And I think a good example of this, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show Undercover Billionaire. It's a great program. I don't know how much of it's set up, but like I think it does show some of the core foundations of being an entrepreneur. And on the second season, you've got Grant Cardone on there. And something really interesting happens because he has been an entrepreneur for obviously years and years and years. So he is already at this top end of the scale here. He already knows about this. His skill set, his mindset's already high. It won't let him just give up, right? And he kept getting rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected. And you notice that each time he got rejected, so let's just do this line here, this is Grant. Each time he got rejected, you know, he get a bit of a lull in his mood, and then he get rejected again, bit of a lull in his mood, get a bit of a lull in his mood again. But he wouldn't ever stop. He just carried on, right? And he got rejected quite badly sometimes, right? So it's quite inspirational because he just basically carried on. He just didn't care. And then eventually, you know, it worked out well for him. I don't want to spoil the story there, but you know, it went quite well. So this is the difference. This is the fundamental difference between those who are successful and those who end up failing in business. It's those who are willing to understand that it takes time for your skill set and your mindset to catch up. And over time, you end up learning more things. You end up becoming better. Things end up making sense up here. And I see people who are like trying to build like a YouTube channel or trying to build like content on LinkedIn, and they post 3 times, they don't get anywhere near like the results they expected. And so as a result, they just give up on themselves. And people, first of all, need to realize that their expectations need to rise a lot higher than what they already are. They need like to set their expectations a lot further away than what's actually possible, right? I hired an accountability coach one time, and he was saying to me, he was like a productivity high performance coach, and he was saying to me how a good rule of thumb is if you have a goal, know that it will roughly take you 2.5 times, as long as you expect that goal to be achieved to actually do it realistically, right? So if you expect that you're going to get, you know, a client within 1 month, it'll be at least 2.5. And that's just like if everything goes right. But the thing about like all these, you know, some big name people is whatever you think about them, there is always a history of them getting rejected and they just don't give up. If you read any great books, if you look about like Elon Musk, where's Elon Musk? Oh, here it is. Elon Musk's book here. He was like multi-billions of dollars in debt in the first recession in 2008, first recession of 2000s. And he was like, he just didn't give up, right? He just didn't give up. It wasn't an option of giving up. I've got also Arnold Schwarzenegger's book up here, Total Recall. There's tons of times where he just didn't give up, where things were really, really going against him. And I've got tons of different examples about this throughout history. And what you start seeing is, if you start reading into history, is that the people who end up prevailing are the people who don't give up. They've adjusted their strategy somewhat. If it really, really isn't working, they aren't worried because they know it will eventually work. It's just a matter of adjusting the approach. And often these guys as well, they don't just start out with one thing. They test a whole bunch of things, right, and put them all on this timeline. And then maybe some of them just won't work out, right? But then maybe one of them does work out. So they always think, react fast to what's happening around them. They're aware that they might have to go a long time without getting any result. And also, they don't let themselves get too down when things don't go their way. They know it's inevitable they will win, and bumps are always likely in the road. That's really what I wanted to share today, because I've coached people over like strategies of how to get more clients and how to get leads and things like this. And some people, they knock it out the ballpark within a week, right? Most people don't though. Like most people, their expectations of what's possible doesn't match like the reality of their environment. And if they're a person who hasn't sold anything before, hasn't marketed anything before, hasn't run a business or anything before, and hasn't seen certain points in the market and seen what can actually happen when a business does well or when a business does poorly, they can't actually, like their expectations are just way off of what's actually possible, right? Sure, everyone can get lucky, but from working with tons of people and from like seeing lots of entrepreneur journeys, it mostly doesn't happen, right? But from actually working with and speaking to lots of entrepreneurs, both ones who've made it and ones who haven't, I can see that like most people's realistic expectations when they are starting out they're unrealistic, right? And because of this, they end up giving up way too soon. They don't take into account that consistent repeated actions over time will generate the result and will bring the skill set up and will also bring the mindset in line with it as well. And because of this, they end up just giving up. They just don't see like the bigger picture, and there's always a bigger picture here. So I really hope you enjoyed this video today, guys. It was something I wished I would have heard when I would have first started out, because honestly, I felt like giving up every area of the way. And in previous years to this graph right here, I actually did give up multiple times. So if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more content like it, please like the video. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below. And also, if you did enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel so you can see more, and have a fantastic day and take care.